Are your people working hard but not reaching their full potential? The problem is not effort, it is development. At the Modern Observer Group, we transform workforce development into real performance. Our human-centered achievement programs help your team think better, communicate stronger, and execute at a higher level. That means higher employee engagement, stronger leadership, and measurable results across your organization. If you want a workforce that performs, leads, and delivers, it is time to invest in your people. Visit modernobserver.com and discover how the Modern Observer Group helps you build a workforce that wins.
An attack in Iran postponed. The price of gas keeps rising. A major energy merger and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. President Donald Trump said Monday he is calling off a plan to attack Iran on Tuesday after the heads of 3 regional powers in the Middle East asked him to hold off. Trump, in a Truth Social post, said he has informed U.S. military leaders that we will not be doing the scheduled attack of Iran tomorrow in light of the requests from Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. There had been no clear indication prior to Trump's post that the U.S. was preparing to strike Iran on Tuesday, officially scrapping its tattered ceasefire with Iran. Trump had told the New York Post in an interview earlier Monday that Iran knows what's going to be happening soon, though he declined to provide details. Trump was considering resuming active military operations after Tehran's latest response and ongoing negotiations over a deal to end the war was deemed insufficient. Cuba has denied reports that the country has stockpiled more than 300 attack drones to use against U.S. targets, accusing President Trump of fabricating a case for war. The claims, first reported by Axios, suggested the drones given to the country by Russia and Iran could be aimed at targets including Guantanamo Bay, American warships, and Key West, which sits just 90 miles from Cuba's northern coast. The Trump administration dropped its $10 billion IRS lawsuit yesterday in exchange for a $1.8 billion taxpayer-backed fund to compensate people who claimed they were politically targeted by the Biden Justice Department. The administration's decision to settle appeared designed to sidestep a judge's pointed questions about how Trump could legally sue an agency he now controls as president. 2 teenage gunmen attacked the Islamic Center of San Diego yesterday, killing 3 men, including a security guard who prevented the attack from being much worse, authorities said. According to police, the 2 suspected shooters also killed themselves. San Diego Police Chief Scott Wall said the shooting was being investigated as a hate crime and that one of the teens' mothers had found a note containing hate rhetoric. The mother had reported to police earlier in the day that her son was missing along with multiple weapons. The mosque houses a school, but Wall said all the children were safe. President Trump announced that TrumpRx.gov will add more than 600 generic prescription drugs. The site was launched earlier this year as a government-backed platform to provide drug price information and direct consumers to lower-cost purchasing options. The new listings include common medications such as atorvastatin, the generic equivalent of Lipitor, and metformin, commonly prescribed for diabetes. The site does not sell drugs directly. It sends users to platforms including Amazon Pharmacy, GoodRx, and Mark Cuban's Cost Plus Drugs. The administration said the expansion is part of its efforts to increase price transparency and reduce out-of-pocket costs for people paying without insurance. Generic drugs account for more than 90% of prescriptions filled in the United States. Controlled substances and medications with restricted FDA distribution are excluded. The White House said the initiative is tied to broader agreements with pharmaceutical companies on drug pricing. Google and Blackstone announced a joint venture to create a U.S.-based artificial intelligence cloud company. Blackstone will initially provide $5 billion in equity. The venture plans to build 500 megawatts of data center capacity by 2027. Total investment could reach $25 billion with leveraged financing. The company will offer Google's tensor processing units through a compute-as-a-service model. Google executive Benjamin Sloss will lead the venture as chief executive. Google Cloud Chief Executive Thomas Kurian said the project is meant to expand access to TPU computing. The venture is aimed at demand for artificial intelligence computing infrastructure. Major technology companies are increasing spending on data centers, chips, energy, and cloud capacity as AI workloads grow. Blackstone has also expanded investments in energy and infrastructure tied to data center demand. The national average price of gasoline has surged 56% to roughly $4.52 per gallon since the U.S. struck Iran in late February. That's up from $2.89 at the start of the year, representing one of the sharpest fuel price spikes in recent memory. Energy companies NextEra and Dominion announced a nearly $67 billion merger Monday that will create the world's largest regulated electric utility, serving 10 million customers across Florida, Virginia, and the Carolinas. The companies say scale is the point. Larger combined operations mean more efficient construction and financing, which they argue will eventually lead to lower bills for customers amid surging demand for AI data centers. The combined company will operate under NextEra's name, though Dominion's brand will remain in place for its local operations in Virginia and the Carolinas. The all-stock deal is expected to close in 12 to 18 months. Home Depot said Tuesday its core homeowner shopper remains resilient in the face of higher gas prices and plummeting consumer confidence, leading the retailer to reaffirm its full-year guidance after beating fiscal first quarter expectations. The homeowner, in a relevant sense, is perhaps more protected financially than other customer cohorts, and so we continue to see engagement, Finance Chief Richard McPhail told CNBC in an interview. Still, in the face of rising geopolitical tensions, plummeting consumer confidence, and a broken housing market, those shoppers are engaged up to a certain point, said McPhail. They continue to tell us that they are going to defer their spend on larger projects, he said. That's consistent with what they've told us the last few years. That's the Raw Naked Truth for May 19th, 2026. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.